And it is a fact that it's mostly men doing the wars.
Yes.
Mostly men who don't have inner peace, who are angst-ridden, and therefore they look outside for this or that, you know, often quite aggressively, you know. And so this tarot is a little sneaky, like, peace strategy. I want a copy of this to every male on the planet, because it will teach them to respect their own masculinity.
The call for wisdom.
It's a call to wisdom for the men.
Yes.
I'm assembling, men are amazing, they can be so wise, but we have to reclaim the wisdom. The right to be wise, it's what Kant, who was a great influence on Hegel, said. Dare to be wise. That was the slogan of the Enlightenment. So we have to get the men given permission on this planet to dare to be wise. At the moment, and I speak, you know, as someone that's met lots of blokes in England, it's like you have a duty to be stupid. You know, Brexit came because, like, we can't question the BBC, they're right, aren't they? We have a duty to be stupid.
Oh dear.
You know, and the whole monarchy thing is premised on this, oh, well, don't question what the Lord Lieutenant says, you have a duty to be stupid. You know, and that stupidity is handed down the chain of the hierarchy of the males.
Ah, that's what you called also in your treaty about the phobia, the
Sophiophobia, yeah, they're afraid of wisdom. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I daren't be wise because I'm terrified of it. Then I might have to do something and speak out. And then I might get assassinated, you know. Like, of course, if you put your head over the parapet, people will attack you. But we have to learn to be invulnerable. The sage in the Rishi is called the Great Swan, Paramahamsa in Sanskrit. And they were called the swan because insults, defamation fall off them like water off a swan's feathers. A Paramahamsa just sails on doing dharmic truth work. You know, that's what a rishi does. And that's what a druid does, you know. And I want all the men on this planet to become like that. Courageous, stand up for peace, stand up for their masculinity. Because I think that's what the women deserve. You know, women are amazing, I love them, goddesses are amazing, but you've got your act together.
Yes.
It's up to the men to get our act together. So what you've done here is revolutionary. You've created a tool for the impeachment of the masculines on the planet. Right, your turn for a question, I think.
Yes, we talking about the philosophy role. I mean, how you feel that what's the role that the philosophy can play to in the peacemaking?
Right.
How and
Yeah.
what the role? How you?
Gosh, well, I mean, to me, I just see that as like obvious. But then I was brought up to respect philosophy. I was brought up by my parents to love philosophy. I wanted to become a philosopher quite early. Went to university to study it and never looked back. And so we got that on the one hand. You know, and then on the other you've got this threat of self-destruction on the planet, nuclear omnicide. We've got thousands of nuclear weapons poised. We've got Britain making more of them. I mean, you know, like, how stupid is that? Philosophy means to love wisdom. It's supposed to be the queen of the sciences. It's what, you know, great thinkers do. And yet, is the best we can do making weapons of mass destruction or letting beautiful countries like Syria implode in civil wars? Why couldn't we have helped your country and got mediation? That's what I want, a European Union mediation service. I don't want any country to be having civil wars. Whereas the people that run Britain, they all benefit from selling weapons. I mean, these are corrupt criminals. So philosophy's got a lot to do about peace. We can't untangle the lies that create militarism. Unless we go in there with our philosophical wisdom, like razor-sharp intellectual analysis of the predicament. And it is to do with the dominant materialist paradigm that the Galileo Commission is questioning. Because we discussed yesterday, yes, militarism depends on materialism. Because if you admit there's a soul, if you admit there's consciousness, if you admit there's spirituality, then you have to start talking about ethics. And the minute you start talking about ethics, global militarism is unsustainable because it's using up trillions and trillions of our money for what? For fear. war. And now they're inventing drone weapons, they're inventing weapons that can zap you from a far distance. They're experimenting with ray guns, they're trying to militarize space. You know, whereas if you say no, that's fine because it's only matter that matters. It's only militarism, it's only material things, there's no soul. Then you can do what Stalin did. You can massacre millions of people and get away with it. Or what Mao did, slaughtering Buddhist monks. Well, there's no soul. What's your problem, mate? It's just the party. Or you can be an American military capitalist who says there's no conscience, so let's drop napalm on wherever it is, you know, or drop bombs on Libya or whatever. Or do what Julian Assange exposed, dropping, you know, in Iraq and also Syria. American military intellectual intelligence people triggered the civil war in Syria deliberately and willfully. That's what Julian Assange discovered with WikiLeaks, and that's why he's rotting in a jail in London. Well, you know, I'm a believer not in secret intelligence but public wisdom. And philosophy is wisdom. So that's why I coordinate Philosophers for Peace in Europe. I'm the president of that. And have done, you know, ever since I went to Moscow in 1990 to meet a bunch of philosophers. I was a little academic starting out, you know, and I met all these amazing intellectuals who were from Russia and America and all over the world, campaigning for peace. And I just, you know, I was given the pen to carry, you know, and now I'm holding it. I won't let it down until we get peace on earth. Yeah. There we are, that's my little mission.
Thank you. Right.
Yes. Okay, so why is UNESCO important? You've applied for a job at UNESCO, and I really hope you get a job at UNESCO. Yes. Why is UNESCO important, and what is cultural heritage? Why is that important?
Right. I mean, yeah, yes. When you recall just UNESCO, you will have the cultural heritage directly, and education, and spreading this education to people, reaching people, and that's, I think, that's my dream job actually, to have it, because it's. I mean, I would say like the war, the experience of war, made maybe somehow trauma from politics, because you see everybody is lying, you know, and that's the problem with the global politics. I don't know, I don't watch news now at all, because for me it was like, yes, you are lying, something happened here and you are just on the TV and your couch just speaking and you don't leave, you don't have, just talk. It's so I quit this, and from my experience, I see that if you want really to make peace, you have to go into the small part. Like you mentioned the males. Yes, I mentioned the mothers, or the women who how they make their families, how they educate the children, how the children raised up. I mean, that's very serious issues. To really go into the education, how we reach people. And how we also, like now, the globalization, almost, you don't appreciate what you have, what your country has. And the cultural heritage is, as you said, it's like how the conscious encoded with the culture, right?
Yeah.
And that's what make you have the one like. You have something in the past, you have like it's a progress. You are not suddenly brought to life and just go make your future. You
have a story, you have a narrative.
Yes, you will have cultural heritage, as say, you have some traditions, you have a way of eating, you have a way of dancing, way of singing, way of making music. And that's very, I think that's part of a spiritual world. If we will go to art, or if we go beyond this concept of what's culture, what's civil life, what's this, it's a spiritual way of living. When you have a good music, that's a reflection that the people in this place enjoying a good, a peaceful atmosphere, a good education, people appreciate beauty. and so on. So UNESCO, I think it's one of maybe the last tools that we have really to I mean, I choose my fight, even I don't like this word, to fight or to die for. I want...
your struggle or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, it's...
Your jihad.
Yes, I don't like to, but it's everyone should have a goal or purpose in his life, and I feel like, yes, through this, how really to, like the UNESCO could be one tool of making peace with people, give them the education, give them the appreciation to what they have, and yes, the cultural heritage is
key to that, isn't it?
is key to that, yes, and because now we forget, we don't. It's even in Germany. I mean, I met some German people. I told them, please give me. I want to learn the language very well. Give me a source of true German music, true like genuine.
Traditional German music.
Yes, music.
Like folk songs
or poetry or some documentaries. Very few people could really give me a good recommendation because they studied such things or they are into such literature or something related to music, or some of their families studying music or are in this field. But the majority were giving, go to this soap opera, watch Friends in German language. But that's not French, that's not German, you know, that's not the German music, it's pop, it's not what we have. And the same problem also in my country. If you go to the people now, ask them, give me an example of your music, it's shocking. They will just, they will give you a name that they are really, it's not Arabic music, it's not the right,
so globalization has some benefits, but it's threatens this the differentiation of each culture.
Yes,
we're losing our individuality.
Sure, and if you
we need to sort of so the question of like an inventory of sacred sites and places like Stonehenge and Avebury and all the sacred sites around the planet. I mean, UNESCO is a custodian for them. It's got a list of them all, hasn't it? And also in nature, it's got a list of the sacred wilderness spots.
Yes, and the intangible, and that's the best part that I like, the intangible cultural heritage, which is really, I think it's the gate, it's the way that every country believe in themselves, love their values, and because if you don't appreciate yourself, and love what you have.
Yeah.
You want to be faithful to this country. You want work for peace for this country. You will accept everybody coming. Like in my country, we have people just outside. Yeah, we give you weapons, we give you support.
Mercenaries.
But that's
a shocking and horrendous thing that was done to your country.
Yes.
But I mean, it was deliberate, And the thing is that won't be exposed by the media. People that know that are locked up. But that's why I want a proper peace policy. And a peace institute in every university. Damascus University should have a peace studies department, and they will research this and find this out. And in Lebanon too, and Beirut.
Yes, we hope.
Your mission as coordinator for the institute in Syria is to get a centre for peace studies at Damascus University and Aleppo.
Yes.
Okay, whose turn is it? I think your turn to ask me maybe the last question.
Yes, about we have a recent recent news for today. It's the German election, and because I don't follow too much news, I will give you the now.
So my views on the German election. Okay, well I mean it's interesting. Your father just got German citizenship.
Yeah.
Germany's an amazing country. I've been several times. I love it. Although it's got a troubled and checkered history. Soon after I came here, I read an amazing book about the 30 Years' War by a man called Peter Watson, a great British historian. And it's the history of 30 years of fighting in Germany between the Catholics and the Protestants. And it was slaughter on both sides. They went for it. Total massacres. And this difference between North Germany, which was largely Protestant, South Bavaria, largely Catholic. Well, fortunately, that distinction doesn't matter now. You can travel anywhere in Germany and you won't get attacked for your religion. Germany's become quite a civilized place. You've got a federal structure It also pioneered the history of socialism. I mean, after all, Marx was a German, so was Engels. And they came from the German working class intelligentsia. I've studied the history of, the socialist tradition in Germany. And I think that it's time to let them have a go. I hope this guy from the Social Democratic Party wins, Scholz. I think he seems like a sensible, intelligent, moderate kind of guy. He's been Vice-Chancellor of Germany for the last 4 years under Angela Merkel, who I think has done quite a good job. I hope he wins. The other guy, I don't think would be as good for Germany. It's more like a right thing. We've had enough right-wing people in power. We've had a nightmare of right-wing people in Britain, and in America with Trump and so on. We can't afford more right-wing types because they're all nationalist, populist, and they go to military solutions. The trouble with the right, and it's the German, Hitler was the German right, perfect example. What did he do? He locked up all the socialists. He killed the Social Democrats, he crushed them, and then he turned on the Jews because a lot of them were left-wing. And he gassed them and killed them and tortured them, like a psychopath, right? Because he was a rightist. Well, I don't want any more of those Hitler types around. There's far too many. We need a sensible, moderate, social democratic leader in Germany for, to tell the rightists who are like the Trump types out there, who are all mad, that path is not good. We can't save this planet if we continue down the right-wing route. And the same in Israel. I hope that if we get a German social democratic governance, then Israel might wake up from the Netanyahu years. Israel has gone between the left and the right. When I was growing up, the left was normally in power, the Labour Party. They were sensible people, like the British Labour Party. But then the right stole power under Netanyahu, and they just made life hell for the Palestinians. Netanyahu broke every single rule of normal ethics in international relations, as the right always do. And the joke is the Israelis copied from the Hitler tactics. It's shocking. So yes, I'm fingers crossed. Every single right-wing network in the world will be trying to stop this happening. They will be blogging, can't let the left in, they're dangerous, they're going to make an alliance with the Greens and the Linke, they're extreme communists, Like every defamation will be hurled at the left. I hope that sensible, good German people come out in mass today and vote and tell these people to get lost. Because, workers of the world unite, we have nothing to lose but our chains. It's just a quote from Karl Marx's great Communist Manifesto. So there we are, And also the Greens, I hope, do well, and they can become an alliance with the Social Democrats. But, Okay, my final question to you. Again, thank you again for coming and being here. It's been fun having you. Because that's what's so good about the workaway thing, is we learn from each other, don't we?
Right.
So my final question, you started going on about it in the last thing, about spirituality. Because we do this daily meditation practice. Some people find that weird or don't want to do it, But how important do you think spirituality is to peacemaking? My institute's quite unique in that we really think it's important. And therefore we do, I've just finished a commentary on the Quran. I take time with spiritual stuff, the Gospels and everything. In your view, why is spirituality important to peacemaking, and if so, why?
Naturally, yes, absolutely. And even with people who are not into spirituality nowadays, I will talk again from my generation. Even the very people are very materialistic or into science or whatever, they claim to go into meditation or to have this silent moments to stop thinking and just have the relationship with their body again, with their conscious again. So that's, I think it's now maybe because the pandemic, maybe because also the social media who raised this voice of the importance of consciousness, the importance of raising consciousness, and the importance of reconnection, the spiritual world. I mean, obviously, I think that's I never imagined myself to go into this stuff before, like 2 or 3 years ago. But since that, yes, the stress in this life, which is unbearable, will take us into this. And I find that really here the place, this praying in the morning, this practically with the singing bowls. It's a practice. One should really pass this knowledge to people, because maybe you don't know how to go into this world, and there is a special practice to do, how to breathe, how to pay attention
and to visualize. That's quite important.
Yes, and the visual, and many things to really learn. So that's I think that's a very good experience I took personally from here. And the discipline as well, like to be on the time here to do this. And that's really helped to your inner peace. I mean, I would say that I had a many problem in asthma in Germany, and I'm coming here, I'm living here since 2 months, almost I have nothing.
Yeah, I haven't noticed any asthma stuff.
Yes, I think that now everything is improving with me, because this balancing.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, bless you. Thank you so much. I guess we'll finish there.
Thank you too. It was nice.
And I think that it's a good note to end on. Maybe, can I read one final poem? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Just to close. And just to say that the visualization thing I've worked into this book on magical peacemaking, you can have a copy of that as Syrian coordinator. I want you to get the people of Syria doing peace magic. This is the first book in the history of the world on peace magic. Nobody knows it exists. So you've learned about it here. Okay, there's me with my druid sword in Scotland doing peace magic.
Yes, and I want to say that I didn't heard that before about the druids, and it was very good to come here and learn about the history about them.
Well, the Druids were just really the same people that would have been in Haran when the Muslim army turned up and said, "What religion do you follow? Do you have a book?" And they said, "Go away, come back, we'll decide overnight." And when they came back, they showed them the Hermetic texts, the pagan texts of Egypt, and the people of Haran, where Abraham came from, said, "No, we're Hermetic followers, like we're pagans." Well, that's what the Druids were. Right. We follow a path thousands of years old, and Egypt is part of that, hence the Hermetic stuff. But the people of your country, Syria, were the same. When you go down to the deep roots, we're all one ultimate tradition. So that's what I hope you can take away with you.
Yes.
That's for sure. Right, I'm looking for a little poem to finish on. Okay, this is a short one. It's called "Every Only Should Be an Always." Every only should become an always. Every never should become a maybe. Every no, absolutely not, should become a possibly. Every impossibility should become a spur to endeavour. Every catastrophe should become a test of our healing skills. Every indescribably dire planetary event should become a chance to practice our enlightenments. Every enlightenment moment should become a star in the infinite sky. Every star glowing should become an interfused source of eternity rays. Every light should acknowledge its darkness source. Every darkness should delight in its lightning display. Clouds on clouds banked and hovering, lightning quivering within and beneath, translucence the sky. Should there be anything left out, the infinite sky will say it to you directly.
Thank you.
That's a poem from volume 7 of my poems. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you want to switch the camera off then?
Yes.